Tyler, how do people describe you and how would you describe yourself?
I would say how I describe myself is, I guess that's like what my identity is at this point. Still a surf coach. I'm a surf coach. I'm a born and raised Florida native, and I take pride in that. I love where I'm from.
That's you shouldn't, but sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I grew up surfing my whole life. Surfing, skateboarding is who I am as a person. But also, I've been a lifeguard for 15 years, and that's my background. So a lifeguard, Floridian, surf coach, speaker. Still feel semi-new to comedy, but comedian. A lot of titles, I guess. One of my friends back at home said that I'm like a hobbyist. I'll just kind of find hobbies, and then if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, if it nearly kills me, maybe I stop. But I'd say that's how I identify myself. Other people, I don't really know how they'd identify me. Hopefully, probably similar, I guess. But author, I've written a couple books. And I hope just a nice guy. I hope friends and people just perceive me as a nice person, good person to be around.
I mean, it's interesting that the nice guy comes after
Florida man.
everything you do, and Florida man, which is, that there are two words that don't match with each other, Florida man and nice guy.
Yes, sir.
But the concept of hobbyist is interesting because many people see hobby as something that they can only do in their spare time, and it's almost like a life hack. You can make your hobbies your job and get paid to do your hobbies, which is one of the things I'm doing, the thing that you're doing as well, which makes life so much easier.
More fun.
And by the way, I'm sorry, like I've known you for years. I guess I've never been this close to it. Your eyes, like you have some incredible. I want to fuck this guy. Right? He has some incredibly blue eyes. They seem fake. They're bluer than the shirt. That's crazy. Don't look at me like that.
I'm getting excited. No.
I'm hard as already. So when you a few years ago now jump off the plane and you pull the parachute and it didn't work properly, and you were free falling, and you probably thought with some degree of certainty that you were gonna die. What went through your mind?
First thing was my mom, because so this was 17 years ago now, and I'd been in the sport of skydiving for, I think at that point, 7 years, and it was the first time my mom, not only she arrived with me to do a skydive, but she never really had any sort of interest in it because of the fear factor of the whole thing, right? So it makes sense. But to have her do it there the same day with me, I mean, she jumped probably 3 skydivers after me. I was the first one out of the plane. So she was in free fall while I was having my malfunction of my parachute. So I started thinking, oh no, what's my mom gonna think? Like if I have to use...
Did she notice?
No, she was, thousands of feet above me. But she ended up noticing, of course, when she landed. She was there by my side, but while it was happening, she had no idea. It was just me and my thoughts. And I think my whole life I've like kind of been an overthinker. And sometimes I've taken too long to make decisions, which I've noticed in the workplace at times where I've learned valuable lessons. But at this point, I was like, okay, should I deploy my reserve? And I was just thinking too long. I had these thoughts of my mom, and then I had the thoughts of just life in general. And while I was thinking, I was losing altitude, like precious altitude.
So as a reference, how long does it take to go, like
the whole process?
Yes.
Like from the jump, it would take me about 30 to 40 seconds of free fall. And then under the parachute, maybe about 4 to 5 minutes.
Okay. So after 30 seconds, you open the parachute.
Yep.
And how long did it take from the moment the parachute didn't deploy correctly to the moment you hit the ground? How long did you think and overthought?
I'd say probably 60 to 90 seconds.
Okay.
Because I was going so fast. And what was happening was I saw what the malfunction was, and I tried to correct it. I was actually spinning full sideways, and I started trying to leverage the parachute by pulling down on a riser which connects to the parachute. And by doing this, I was able to kind of fly straight. So I thought, at first I corrected the malfunction. I thought I did. And I was like, okay, if I hold this tension on the parachute. I've leveled it out. I can come in and just prepare for a hard landing. And then I just ran out of energy. I couldn't hold it the whole time, and then I let go. And so that was kind of the beginning of the mistakes I made. And I wasn't staying aware of my altitude, because you need to know the whole time what your levels are before you start your flight pattern to come in to land, right? It's probably similar to flying, I'm guessing, right? So by doing all that, I lost precious energy and time, let go, started spinning, and that's when I checked my altitude. And I was like, I think I'm too low to use my reserve. Like I'm like 800 feet from the ground. And then my theory is, from the centrifugal force of spinning and just sheer terror, I lost consciousness. But my last thought was, I think I'm gonna die.
So you lost consciousness before hitting.
Before hitting, yep.
Which I guess is a good thing.
I think that's what saved my life. I think if I would have been cautious, I would have been like braced maybe.
And yeah, because also the body became more like limber, right?
Exactly.
You relax your body when you're unconscious.
Yes. It's like the drunk driver that gets in the wreck and survives. Like your
last thought was, I'm
going to die. That was my last thought.
And how did it feel knowing that you were going to die?
Sheer terror.
So it's not like peaceful, like people say.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I just thought like this is it, you know. But also, memories. And you were
25.
I turned 26 the day I woke up from the coma. So I was 25, about to turn 26.
That's crazy. And that was how many years ago?
17 years.
Oh wow.
It'll be 17 years this year.
Damn, you're old. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you look
it's creeping up on me.
You look great. You look great.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, so do you.
Fuck off.
Let's not go back there.
And so there was like, it's interesting that your mom for the first time, so maybe she was feeling something. Well, I guess no, she wasn't feeling something was going to go wrong, because she went and jumped as well. But leading up to that day, did you feel anything was off?
Yeah, because I was lifeguarding, right? So like I was still ocean lifeguard. I was a captain at the time. And the day before the skydive, I got shit on by a seagull. And apparently, I don't know if that's good luck, bad luck.
Yeah, in Italy we say that's good luck. Apparently not that much.
Well, no, because I still say, and this is weird, but I still say it's the best thing that happened to me, right? So maybe that seagull that shit on me, or pelican, like gave me the good luck to survive, to allow me to take a different path in life. But what was really...
I think...
Maybe
seagull shit, that's nothing to do with it, but who knows?
Yeah. But also, like when we were going up in the plane, they were playing music, and all the times I've jumped out of the plane, they never played music. But just, I don't know, nothing leading up to it really, I guess. It was just the fact that Mom was there. And she was on the ground holding my hand when I was broken.
Because maybe also, even if something fell off, you may have made the connection that that's because your mom is there, not because something is feeling off.
Right. Yeah, and I've looked at it so many different ways, and like going, what could this? And it's made me look at life like that, as far as just trying to find connections and reasons why things have happened. But to have her there was probably a survival factor in me too, right?
Yeah. You know? Well, also nobody wants to die, but if you're gonna die, at least your mom is there.
Right. And I was meant to do a night jump that night too. So,
but you did it earlier because your mother was there. Of course.
If it would have happened at night, probably wouldn't have worked out for me.
And how did that change your perspective on life in general, I guess?
Oh my gosh. I mean, just being in the rehabilitation center, I mean, my worst, there was two like worst case, but the first worst case was my mouth was wired shut and I was confined to a wheelchair.
So exactly. So because your body, I guess, it completely broke down. What happened to your body?
So when I woke up on my birthday, April 16th, and when I opened my eyes, I saw the doctor.
And did you remember that you were free fall?
He told me, he's like, all right, you're lucky to be alive. We managed to save your right leg. And yeah, they almost had to amputate my right leg because the femur blew out of my leg. And the left femur broke in half like a branch. My right ulna humerus, the upper lower arm, snapped right down the middle. My condyle, which is the hinge of the jaw, this one shattered, this one fractured, dislocated. I broke my mandible down the middle, broke 9 teeth that they had to extract, fractured my skull, and I had a concussion. So like they rattled all this off to me.
Damn.
And my first thought was like, am I going to surf again? Like that was my first thought. of course, my dad, I think my dad was there. He was like, we got to work on walking first.
Yeah.
So like right away when I heard the news, I was kind of like, okay, this is life done? Like what's going to happen? But there was no internal damage. There was no spinal damage, no brain injuries that we could tell. So like that was why I always.
Because also if somebody meets you now, they would never know.
Never guess. No. I mean, besides my teeth, I'm still out
there. Yeah,
there
but you're
surfing.
from Florida, so.
Yeah, exactly. Fits the hillbilly look. Yeah. So I mean, there's so much that I'm still physically capable to do, but and I've said this so many times. Like the skydiving accident in itself is like the meat, like the interesting, exciting. But man, what's happened after? Like 17 years of like a different life, and the adventures and experiences and the people. It's been like. It's just so cool to think of that, but I forget about the accident so much, man.
Of course.
And then it's just like,
I mean, 17 years.
17 years is a long time.
Do you take it as a life reset almost?
The accident?
Like the day when you woke up on your 26th birthday is like almost the day you were born again?
For sure. Yeah. Because it's a whole, if that wouldn't have happened, and I still have a lot of my really good friends are firefighters back in Florida, and that was my path. I was in EMT school when this happened. So most lifeguard captains, they end up going to the fire department in Florida. That was going to be my path. And it would have been an awesome path, and I have friends still that have taken it and they love it. But at the same time, this has been an exciting path, man. So like to have everything that happened afterwards, I'm so thankful of it.
So you would have never left Florida?
Probably not.
Because after you lived in many countries, now you've been in Indonesia for almost a decade?
Oh, now 11 years. I'm 11 years now, yeah.
And so when did you decide, okay, I need to completely change what I'm doing?
It was...
During the rehabilitation?
It was during the rehabilitation because I was taking... They prescribed me OxyContin and Xanax. So the gnarliest pain pills you can get, right? Like the step below fentanyl. And this was 2008, 2009 when the opioid epidemic was going crazy in the U.S. Like South Florida was the hub. They've got crazy documentaries about like the pain clinics there. And I was right in the middle of it because I'm this injured,
I mean, you had every right to get
official, right? Yeah, I've got a cane. So it was a double-edged sword because I took that to give myself power and strength to train, but I'd see friends that would be overdosing and dying on the same drug, right? That didn't need it.
Oh, wow.
So once I was actually capable of living life without the drug, I still used it, man, because it was fun. But then
So you became addicted to this?
But not like, I'm not a junkie shooting up. It was just like crush them. I partied with them. But then I remember specifically the day I was in South Florida at a pain clinic and I saw this attractive girl across from me nodding out. And you could, everyone in there is addicts. They're like, a step below heroin basically. And I made a decision, my own decision to stop taking any painkillers. And when I did that, I can't make this up, man. I made that decision to stop. Within that week, I found out through my lifeguard organization that we got contacted by the Western Australian lifeguard department about an exchange program. And I was like, well, maybe that could be something.
Yeah.
So it was that time I decided to stop with the opiates in Florida. And that email was like, whoa. So I got a travel journal and I started writing, I want to jump off the cliffs in Norway. I want to lifeguard in Australia. And I made this, I still have it, this notebook that I just write all my dreams in. Like, I want to make this. What visas do I need? What languages do I need to learn? And man, a lot of it happened. A lot of it didn't. And my mom's glad I wasn't jumping off fjords in Norway. But a lot of that stuff happened just from the power of writing it down and wanting to make it happen. So that was the transition of like wanting to make a new life, is when I got myself healthy, put myself around individuals that were actually bettering their lives as well. And like not hanging out with the friends, some of them I still love, but that couldn't get rid of that substance and they were just on a dead end road.
And did you jump after?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was 11 months after the accident. Was crazy, man.
I guess your mother was stoked
I
that you were...
I didn't tell her. I didn't tell the family for like a year. I'd like hide my parachute in my closet. I'm going surf, and I'd take my surfboard, my parachute, and because I was still living at the house for a little while. And then when I wrote my book, I was like, well, they're going to read that I'm skydiving. So I had to tell everybody, but I waited till like Christmas. Everybody was having wine. I was like, I got an announcement to make.
I'm gay.
Still jumping.
And I jumped with a parachute.
Jumping up, but they all knew. They were
So
all
they
like,
felt the gay less.
yeah, the gay was fine. But they knew. They already knew I was doing it. They were like, oh, fuck, we already knew that you were going back to it. It's like, why not, man? It's still a passion, you know?
Yeah. And also, like, you have to exorcise that demon in a way.
For sure. Yeah.
So how do you feel to jump for the first time?
Incredible, man. I cried when I first stood up on a surfboard. I was there with my friends. When I surfed for the first time, I had tears in my eyes. Jumping was more of like, okay, cool, I can still do this. But I'd see like double amputees jumping out of planes. I'm going, dude, I've got it easy. Like these guys, I can do this, and I still want that feeling, you know? So it was kind of more of a, I need to get this missing element back in my life. Because it's a great feeling, man, jumping out of a plane.
Never done it, probably will never do, but...
Most people would rather do that than the comedy, which is crazy.
Yeah, like it's crazy because I think the statistics is that the number one fear is public speaking for most people.
They'd rather die.
Which makes no sense. Because, well, I guess in a way, jumping off a plane, which I've never done, so you'll tell me if it's right or not, and doing something like stand-up comedy is similar because you get the adrenaline rush.
I've said that, I might have told this to Vlad, but I've told this to a few people that I think a big part of doing it was a replacement for skydiving. Because I can't skydive out here, but the nerves and the excitement and the adrenaline it feels the morning you wake up, not so much now, but in the beginning I wake up and I'm like doing breathing exercises, meditating. I'm like, man, I got to do comedy tonight. Oh my God. And I just get nerves. Whereas it's still there. It's not as intense. But it's like, that's a similar feeling.
Well, I guess you'll feel it again when you reach the next level.
Yes.
Like, for example, if in the near future you're going to have a show which is just your show, when you're going to do 1 hour, or if you're going to do, like, probably the biggest room you've done is Atlas, I guess.
I had it there.
With a few hundred people. Then if you'll ever do 1,000 people, then it's going to be the next step, or going to television or whatever it is.
That's what it is.
Do you think there's a reason? Like, sometimes we give meaning to parts of our life that don't necessarily need to have a meaning. Like, so, for example, you having this accident, did you give meaning to it? Did you think that something that had to happen to you, and are you kind of grateful for it?
Yeah, 100%. Like, one big thing that happened, well, a couple big things. One was even my first day back, because I went back to light duty, and I was at the fire station rewriting our standard operating procedures during my rehab stint, right?
Okay.
But when I was physically capable of actually doing my trial, my friend Ian ran with me to pass to be able to work on the beach again. First day I was back on duty, we had a code, which is somebody who's drowned. And it was myself and one of the other captains that responded. CPR, saved the guy's life. First day back on the beach.
Oh, wow.
Within that week, I was working with Surfers for Autism, so teaching autistic kids how to surf.
That's awesome.
And that, I don't know if that opportunity, or if I would have really taken to it like I did after the accident, but that became a big part of my life. I was on the board of directors with Surfers for Autism, went to Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and did some work with the Matahari school here in Bali. So they have some autistic kids out they take to the beach.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was so powerful, like to see the looks on their faces and like the feeling you get from doing that. Between that and going back on the beach and lifeguarding, I was like, man, like I was able to save a lot of lives after the accident. So the fact that I was able to help people from something that happened to me, I mean, I was still doing it before the accident, but it had a different meaning after I survived and I was able to go out and save
Almost
people.
like there's a reason why I survived,
Right.
which is to save these people.
And now it's like I got a story that can actually help people. And it's
absolutely.
like, that's what life's about, man. Like being able to help people change their life. And if I can do it by just telling a story, then it's pretty easy, right? Versus having to do the legwork of going out in the ocean and pulling them back in. So it's kind of a cool full circle, I don't know, in some ways.
Because traumatic events somehow inspire people, because everyone always think that they got it the worst, obviously. And then when you see somebody, oh, he survived a jumping off a plane, which just by saying it sounds insane. And then he had a mild addiction to drugs, and he still completely changed his life, changed country, made it happen, and he's now a I mean, you do comedy, but a functioning member of society.
Yeah.
It's something that can inspire people. Say, if this fucking guy did it,
For sure. Because, so many people get in car accidents. If anybody, if I talk to someone and I bring up like having a bad knee, because I've got metal all through my body, right? So if someone's like, oh, car accident, because that's what people relate to, right? People get in these car accidents, so it's there's
you
no
also
difference.
got in a bad bike accident, right?
I've been in 2 bad bike accidents, yeah, but no serious trauma from those. I nearly broke a foot in one, and I did break my wrist in another one.
Oh, okay, so it's
Mild.
yeah, it's fine. And so you went then from saving life, which is in itself, I guess, is a huge rush of adrenaline, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's the ultimate act that a human can do, is saving a life. And but now you kind of get a more relaxed life, right? Because you're a surf coach, you do some comedy. So is it difficult to go from something that gives you so much emotion to just settle down?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, that's why I thrive on the comedy, because it gives me the closest I can get to it. Because even with surfing, between the crowds that are already here in Bali at the good waves, like where I like to surf, it's pretty mellow. But if I want to go surf really good waves, there's not just crowds, but there is a risk of injury. And as much as I want that feeling, I know if I get injured, I can't do anything.
Of course.
So I'm like, okay, thrive on the comedy, because that's getting me as close as I can to that
Yeah,
feeling.
worst case scenario is public humiliation.
Oh.
Which is not even as bad as people think it is.
It's pretty bad, but it's...
Yeah, but the thing is that we all think people give way more of a shit about us than people do give.
True.
Like
True.
if you go to a comedy club and a comedian completely bomb, the next day you already forgot about it.
Right.
But for him, that's like, it's not only his night, it's his week, oh my God, but other people don't give a shit about you.
That's
like
true.
that's, in life, most of the time is like that. People don't care.
Right. I think once you kind of realize that
Yeah.
and you can take it with you on your everyday, it makes things so much easier. Because otherwise, you'll walk in the gym after bombing and you're like, they all know.
Exactly.
Nobody fucking cares.
And even if they were at the show, they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Because also, like, if you do comedy, it's just a bad day at work.
Yeah.
Like a bad day at work, if you are a doctor or you are a lifeguard, it means that you were not in time, or you couldn't, even if you did anything you could have possibly done, somebody died. In comedy, people didn't laugh. Who gives a fuck?
True.
Yeah. Do we have any question from the cock chair?
I have the rapid ones.
Okay, let's do some rapid question.
Okay.
All right. So, rapid question.
Yeah. Rapid answer?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like,
Fire off. Okay.
Don't think, just say.
Okay.
So, craziest post-accident win.
Say it again?
yeah, the Russian accent is
Yeah,
craziest post-accident win.
Post-accident when writing a book.
And at the time there was no ChatGPT, so you actually
I
did
actually
write a
wrote
book,
the fucking book before
Yeah.
the computers could do it.
which is the most impressive thing about you. Not that you survived, but that you
I actually
can
know how
write
to
and
write.
read.
Okay, weirdest Bali memory.
Weirdest Bali memory. Actually, oh God, what is this thing live? I can't remember, man. Weirdest Bali memory. I mean, there's been so many.
It's probably a date.
Probably a date, yeah. I mean, I did actually try to freeze a girl out of my room one time, which is a joke, but it's the truth. Which, hey, not all jokes are true, but that one kind of is. I put the AC down to 16, and like I had an extra blanket hidden, but
So
like,
in
we
the
just
hope
had the
she
sheet.
would leave because she
In
was
the
too
hope she
cold.
would leave, yeah. But then she found the remote because I did a bad job of hiding the remote control. That was a weird one, but I got lots, man. I don't know.
Okay, if your life was a comedy movie, what will be the title and who will play you?
Florida man falls out of an airplane and survives.
What's this thing about Florida, man?
So it's if you know it.
I
obviously,
lived in
yeah.
Florida.
Okay.
I lived in Jacksonville.
That's crazy. You did live in Florida.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I mean, there's so many weird headlines, right? Because the ones like, I'll use one in a bit that I have about a Florida man calls the cops on himself.
Yeah,
for
now
being
it
too
became
hot.
like a regular joke.
Right, because there's regular weird shit happening in Florida. But
Why are people in Florida so weird? Like the last one I saw, and I don't know if it was a meme or it was true. It was a Florida man turns himself in at the police because he killed his imaginary friend.
wow, that's a new one. I think because where I'm from in Florida, Cocoa Beach, it's pretty normal. It's like, I mean, there's a lot of drugs in that town, and there has been a lot of like overdoses, deaths from kids I grew up with. Besides that, you know, surfing, skating, it was a normal little beach town in the U.S. But outside of that beach town, you go over the bridge, and you'll see weird shit. You see like a guy walking with an alligator on a leash or something crazy. Oh, wow. So I think I don't know, man. It's a weird state.
But that's because to me, at least from the outside, all of the U.S. is insane. Like, for example, do you know, and this is a true statistics, there's more tigers captive in Texas in private houses than in the wild.
Whoa.
I've seen it in Tiger King.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Americans. Like when I went to the US, I was so, because I grew up as everyone that is not from the US. I grew up watching American movies and American series, and then my 11th grade, so in high school, I went and did the exchange student in Florida, and it was a weird ass experience. And at that time, there was no Zoom, no WhatsApp. I had to get a payphone and call my mom once a week, and it was super expensive. And 2 months after I was in the U.S., 2 weeks after I was in New York, 9/11 happens.
Oh wow, you were there then, huh?
Yeah, I'm a good luck talisman apparently, and so my mother was like, "No, come back." And I was like, "No, I'm gonna stay. Fuck it." And so many weird things happened to me, like what I thought the U.S. was, which in the movies and stuff, there's a lot of stereotypes. The reality, at least for me, was much worse. Like even more stereotypes. Like I remember when we entered the school, they would check us with a metal detector to see if we had guns. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like till this day in Italy, the only people that have guns are policemen and military people. Like nobody has guns. That's why when I watch zombie movies, I'm like, where do you find, like, it makes no sense. If there's a zombie apocalypse in Italy, we're fucked. There's no guns. Like, how do you kill them? Like it's, and I got sexually harassed by a black man on my first day of school. Black kid. That was my first encounter with a guy tried to suck my dick on my first day of school in the U.S. And I didn't speak any English.
Oh God.
This is what happened. This is a true story. And that's the, even more than 9/11, that was like, maybe I should go back home. Because like in the US, you have like a lanyard with, like, at least in that school, I needed to get my ID, the school ID, which again, in Italy, it doesn't exist. And so I was waiting, and there was this black kid next to me, and he starts saying something I don't understand, and I said bathroom. I'm like, "Oh, I know where the bathroom is." It's like, "Can you show me?" I was like, "Yeah, I need to take a piss. I'll go." And I go in the urinal, and he goes in the stall right next to mine. And that's weird. Like, if you're a man, you know, you skip one.
Of course.
I started peeing, and he looks at me. And I was very dumb, because where I grew up, there were no black people.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought, oh, he's looking at me because, you know, black people have big dicks, I have a small dick, maybe he wants to see. And I was like, eh. And then he keeps on looking. I'm like, and I couldn't communicate. And he says something like, "I don't understand." And he started doing this. I was like, "Excuse me? What?" And then he pushed me inside the stall.
Oh no.
And I was terrified. I was 16 at the time in another country. I didn't speak any language. So I just ran out.
Yeah.
And I never told my family or anything, because they would have got the first flight and got me back.
Of course. Yeah.
And that was my first day in American school.
And that was Jacksonville?
Jacksonville.
Jeez.
Yeah.
My neighbor town.
Podcast plus 18.
Oh yeah. It was crazy. It was crazy. And then we became boyfriends. No. My first love. No, and also, like, I noticed in the American school system that they was like so divided in groups. Like there were the Hispanics, and there were at that time there were a lot of ex-Yugoslavia that came and moved from the war zone. So there were a lot of from Kosovo and from Croatia, and they were like by themselves. And then there were the cheerleader with the football players and the black people on one side, and the nerds and the emos. It was like very different groups, and that's also why I liked high school, and I had such a good experience, because I was the new toy. Like, this guy come from Europe. So I was just jumping from group to group. I was going into rap battles to watch them, like the only white kid, and it was a great experience. Besides the fact that somebody, I mean, in hindsight, he was trying to suck my dick. That was a positive thing, but at that time I didn't think so.
Absolutely hilarious, but that's a stereotype that rings true with schools. And I'll tell people that, I want to go to America, what's it like, or whatever it is. And it's like the school part of it's very, especially college movies.
Yes.
I had a couple friends that went to schools and went to universities, and I didn't, obviously, but
no surprise here.
I was busy surfing, but I'd go to the parties, and it's like, this is for I can't even say it, fraternities, sororities, like it's all very similar.
And one thing I noticed, again, this is just my experience, and because there's the stereotypes that Americans are dumb, right? It's not necessarily that they're dumb, but you just focus on yourself. You know nothing about the rest of the world.
Right.
Because you're like, we're USA, and that's it. Even just the Pledge of Allegiance is a wild thing for non-Americans. So if you're not, I don't know if you have that in Russia. I don't even think in Russia they have it. Like basically every morning, everyone stand up and just recite this little poem about how US is so great.
Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Like not even Russian fucking people do it.
That's a weird.
Like we used to do it when the fascists were in power, Because in Europe, after what happened, we were like, we cannot like our country that much, because last time we really liked our country, we started World War II.
Yeah.
And so it was so cool for me, because I was living a TV series basically. But the reason why I think many people perceive Americans as dumb, I think also the way you have your school system, where you choose the classes you take, it means that if you want to become smart and study, you become extremely smart. But the people that are lazy, then they choose football. Weightlifting was a class that you could choose instead of history, like and baseball and football. So I had people in my English class that knew less English than I did. And I was like, this is wild. And the wildest thing that happened, I still remember, it was a history class. And the teacher asked, what was the worst tragedy of World War II? I was like, oh, that's easy. Holocaust. I was like, no. I was like, all right, the atomic bomb. I was like, no, Pearl Harbor. I was like, yeah, fuck off. And I got sent to the principal. I was like, you guys are fucking idiots.
For the outside perspective now, I've spent a quarter of my life outside of the country. And so even now when it comes to friends, family, speaking about like politics, it's like, man, you guys, like, because I was the same. Before I left the U.S., I didn't know anything revolved outside of the U.S. I have a good friend of mine came out to Indonesia once, and he's like, oh, I didn't realize there's such strict laws like about weed. And I was like, dude, you'll go to jail, man. Like you might die. He's like, my dad raised me that everything's like Florida. I was like, no, it's not. But we're misinformed, and everything is very much centered around our country when you're in there. And it's a bizarre perspective once you've been away from it for a while. And of course, we all know the reverse culture shock of going to your home after being away for years, and you're like, what is going on here?
What I noticed, because I come from a very small town, 60,000 people, and
in Italy, right?
In Italy, and when I came back, it's almost like everyone stayed in the same spot, and in 1 year I matured so much. Because I had a completely different perspective on life. Yeah. And also when you travel a lot, I think it's the same with many people. Maybe you have the same when you go back to Florida. It's like ignorance is a bliss. I
yes.
really feel that. Because if you've never traveled, you're so happy where you are. You're like, oh, this place is amazing. I never want to leave. But if you see the rest of the world, you're like, no, this is a dump. Like, you should run. And people just don't do it.
Two big ones that I'd always use is like, I'd say it was like being a part of a puzzle, your hometown. But then when you go back, you evolve into a different piece that doesn't fit. And then the people that you still know, still love, when they even briefly start to ask you about your life, and you start, they either tone out and they just stop paying attention because they don't really care. They don't know. And then you just stop telling. You just say, you know what, I'll fall back into the character that my family knows when I go back home. I'll be that little boy they remember at the table. I'm not going to talk about elephants in Sri Lanka or crazy people in China. No, I'm going to go back to just being a Florida kid. Because that's what makes the family and the friends happy.
Because also, even when you try to explain, they don't understand. No. You're like, you know what, fuck it.
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So in how many countries did you live?
Indonesia, England.
Australia?
New Zealand, China. Yeah.
And and those are completely different countries, right?
Oh, yeah.
What is one thing that you learn about moving so much and having so many different cultures that you didn't know when you left and you were just a Florida boy?
I'd say the big one that comes to mind is how hard it is to say goodbye. You know, when you meet somebody or people that are really special and you build a strong connection with them and you have to leave. Like, my mom's still not allowed to take me to the airport when I'm in Florida. I have to stay with my aunt and uncle close to the airport. Yeah, because I hate, because you never know, man. You never know when you're going to see them again. Yeah, you know, right. And it's like the more people you become close with. I've got two of my best friends are in Finland. I have family members in Australia. My mom in America. So many friends and family here that, like, to leave a country, you don't know when you're going to be able to see them again. So it's that's the one thing I learned is like how hard it can be to say goodbye. But
so you still haven't got over it?
I think what it does, it keeps me from building really strong connections, which is kind of silly, but it's tough. Like, sometimes it's hard to really sit there and want to become real close with people because I'm not a permanent fixture here. I mean, opportunities happen in Bali and they can keep you here, and it is home. But I never thought I'd be here 11 years. Yeah. I thought I was just going to go lifeguard for a summer in Australia.
I think that's one of the biggest issues with moving to Bali, especially. I've been here now almost 8 years in Bali, and my life is in Bali, and for the foreseeable future is in Bali. As you said, opportunities come, you never know. Yeah. But I built a house in Bali. My son was born in Bali. He goes to school in Bali. So I'm going to stay in Bali.
Yeah.
And the problem is that Bali is such a transient place that at the beginning, I was meeting people, making very good connection, and then they would just leave. And to start again making very tight friendship is almost like a burden, you know? Yeah. It's almost like, oh, okay, I have to start, and then, oh yeah, but then in 3 months you're going to leave for 2 years, and I'm not going to see you, so why do I even bother? And that's why I feel many people in Bali feel alone. Because either they are just passing through, and so there's no point in making meaningful connections besides having a few booty calls or meeting a few girls or a few guys. Or if you stay here a long time, you almost have, when somebody comes, you're almost like, I don't want you to get too close because you're going to leave anyway.
I'd agree. Yeah. And what's cool about like the comedy community is it's a little different with that because you know the ones that are here and that aren't going anywhere versus the ones that do come and they're transient and you can still build those connections and you know since it's a comedy community they're going to come back. Yeah. So you know.
Or you have the opportunity then to go.
Right, exactly. So it's a nice way of still being able to be social and still make some friends because I've made some friends through the comedy community, including yourself. That's nice. Whereas if it wasn't for that, I'm just glad I'm introverted because it's just my dog and I surf, walker, and I'm content, man. I love it. But I also like to search for the next level in life, which takes going out and talking with people and doing things. So it's a nice kind of mix, I think. But But yeah, there's a lot to unpack when it comes to just living here and that whole thing when it comes to just relationships, friendships, but then yeah, it's a never ending, I don't know, it's like there's so much that you can use for humor with that too.
Oh yeah,
which
absolutely.
I think is great, just the observations of it all. But
I mean, also the problem in Bali is I feel most of the people that come to Bali as expats, of course, I'm not talking about the locals, are running from themselves. You know, they're trying to start over, and that's why they also project themselves in a way that maybe they're not. It's not really who they are. That's why so many people in Bali are fake. Maybe they don't even do it on purpose or consciously. It's like, oh, I have an opportunity to start over in a new place. I can be whoever I want. So they don't tell you who they are. They tell you who they want to be.
yeah, I could see
Right?
that too. I could definitely see that.
Like there's people that act like successful millionaires,
Oh, yeah.
and they live in guest house, and you're like, well,
Yeah.
that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Because also it's very easy to project a certain lifestyle from Bali to back home, you know.
For
Because
sure.
in Bali you just post a few videos at the beach and rice fields and a villa party, and back home they will never know that you have to eat a nasi goreng because you have no money, you know.
Exactly. It's so true, man. It's so true. There's but what I like about it too is that there's so much here, and there's so, back to like the high school thing with cliques.
Yes.
It's like you got Canggu, you got Kuta,
Oh,
you got
yes.
Seminyak, Ubud, and I've been so happy just in my bubble in Seminyak because I've been there for so long, so I know the best local food. I know the laundry place that doesn't lose my shirts.
Which
the beach
is rare.
Rare. So it's like to have all these little like components within the circle makes it to where I'm like, the only time I really leave too often is do the comedy to go out to wherever the venues are. And yeah, so it's kind of a nice way of viewing it where you can still be happy in the madness. You just have to kind of find your own little bubble and what works for you.
Yeah. And you spend half of your time in Lombok.
I do, yeah.
So what would be the plus size of Bali, and what would be the plus size of Lombok? And would you suggest somebody that wants to move to Indonesia to move to Bali or to move to Lombok?
I'd say that I look at Lombok, I have a different view set of it because I've always just been over there to work. And what I like is that I don't have to deal with traffic. So I drive every day. I have to drive to a surf spot and take guests on a boat, or just drive straight to the beach, photographs with them, surf with them, and then review all of their photographs. And it's higher intermediate surf coaching. And I like the job, I like the work, but there's not that much to do there. Whereas when I come back here, it's like two different lives. There I just go to the gym, eat healthy, don't drink, work, make sure everybody I have, guests, all have the best experience that they can. And then when I get back here, it's like, I'll have a glass of wine at night. I got my dog, I'll do the comedy. It's surf every day for myself, not for anybody else. So it's two complete different lives. But then when I speak to most people that are over in Lombok, I'd never go to Bali. Like, it's too crowded. The day I'm done working, I'm on a flight to come back here as quick as I possibly can.
Yeah, you're probably the only person that has that say, I can't wait to go back to Bali.
Right. Everybody else is trying to get to Lombok. So my perspective is so different. Anyone I ever meet, I love Lombok. I'm like, I don't want to say I dislike Lombok, but I just prefer Bali. So my opinions, I think, are a little bit different than most. But also my dog too, man. I've had her. She's like my best friend.
How old is she?
She's 10. I was gonna ask if she could come. I didn't bring her, but like she's usually goes everywhere with me, and like I love her to death, man. I'd be lost without her. So
Yeah, you're the male version of a cat lady.
yeah, basically, pretty much, yeah, man. But then once I get here, it's like I pick up my dog. So without her, I'd probably be traveling around a bit more. 2 weeks off, man. Like the schedule is incredible. I'm there for 2 weeks. Grind it out, get myself in good mental, physical shape, come back here, fall apart all over again. It's perfect.
But that's also maybe your perspective, because you're one of the few people in Bali with a real job.
Right, exactly. But then also it gives that 2 weeks here, man, I write so much, I'll do lots of writing. And it's it's very special, and I'm very thankful. And that's why anytime I talk about Lombok, I'm like, yeah, I might be leaving all the time, but I'm still so grateful to have the job there. Great owner, great staff. But then, yeah, I can come back here and have 2 weeks of freedom, and I don't have to worry about a weird life coach hustle, you know, like to get by. It's like, no, man, I've made my money. Now I can plan for the next step, the next level, and try to reach it. So it's a real nice opportunity to have, and I'll be doing that again for the next year. So it's a nice 2 week schedule. And I got friends that come over here for work, so it's nice because I can time that with them when they're going to be here. So
nice. How long was he for now?
Like we started at 1:45, so it's 45 minutes now.
Okay, yeah.
I have some rapid fire and I have some deep questions. Which one do you want?
Anything that you want.
Okay, let's go with this one. Free mode, like it's rapid fire, right? So, but
Oh, we're back to the rapid fire.
yeah, why not?
All right.
hard ones.
So
Your rapid fire, not very rapid. Usually rapid fire is like yes or no question,
Yeah,
one
but people
or
are
one
slow.
word answer.
yeah, but people are slow on answering. Okay, so 3 top things you miss about the US.
Oh,
Freedom and guns and Trump.
no. Music, the Atlantic Ocean. I should say live music, the Atlantic Ocean, and my mom.
Aw. How
Easy
old are
one.
you now?
I'm 40. I'll be 43 in April.
43.
Yep.
And do you think do you want to start a family, or you're like, fuck it?
I already have a family. I have 2 kids in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm a surrogate father. So I'm a surrogate father to a little boy and a little girl with a female couple. And my daughter, Ophelia, she's 9. And then Orly, he's 2.5.
So you basically donated
Yes.
your sperm.
Yeah. So they were the original owners of Queenie, my dog, when she was a little puppy. And I ended up meeting them, house sitting for them when they were in Canggu in a villa. And then they came back from their 2-month trip, saw my connection with Queenie, and we just
so
became
they
a
were
family.
like, we'll give you a dog, you give us sperm, we'll call it even.
Kind of.
Hey.
So to answer the question, I already have the family, but I think you get it. I think most guys, when you get
I don't.
no, when you get older, you know, like you're not gonna say no to a family. You just have to meet the right woman
Yeah.
for
And
you
met
to
two.
want that family. And I meant 2.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
yeah.
How often do you see your kids? Because surrogate father is a difficult, because like you don't really have any rights.
Exactly. But there's the paperwork side of things, and then there's like what it really is, where when we're together, it's smiles, it's connections.
So they know you're.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Like I mean, I'm still daddy tie to the kids, right? But it's more of I'm almost like
More
the
an uncle. Yeah, exactly.
I'm like the traveling weird uncle that's floating around, you know. So it's
I mean,
like,
having a surrogate father is not the weirdest thing when you have 2 moms. Like
Exactly.
they're a modern family.
modern,
so, yeah.
exactly. So it makes sense, and like to watch them being raised by 2 amazing women and giving them a life that at this point in time, I don't know if I'd be able to provide that kind of a life, but I know in the future I would, right? So like I
So you eventually want to take care of them,
well I don't.
or you want to have.
It's more of like when the timing's right, like to be able to be in the place I want to be in my life when it comes to my work career. I'd love to be able to just, hey, I'm going to come visit and just fly to Australia and spend a week or 2, right?
Ah, you're a deadbeat father. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, it's great. I have 2 kids. I see them once every 2 years.
Once every
Yeah. Father of the year. Okay.
there we go.
If you should choose to be reborn, which country will it be and why?
Reborn?
Yeah.
Probably.
North Korea.
I think Japan.
And Japan's pretty.
Japan, just because it's a cool place, good people, and I want to be. I think that just civilized, nice Asian people.
Yeah, civilized, unlike the U.S. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Safe.
So Mexican. Okay. How has fatherhood in a non-traditional family shifted your life purpose?
Oh, that's a good one. And honestly, it's given me a reason to be the best person that I can be, because now I have little people that are looking at me as a father figure. Even though I might not be there, they still are going to want to know who I am, what I've done. So I'm like, okay, so now I have a reason to strive to be the best person that I can be. Because without them, it's like, I mean, yeah, of course there's like willpower, discipline, but what's the real root reason, right? And it's like to know that I have these little people that came from me, and they're going to want to know about me. And so I'd say that's what it is. It's allowed me to go, okay, I need to give it my all. And on days where I don't want to go to the gym, I'm going to still go. I might not like it, but I'm going to go. Days I don't want to meditate, I'm going to still do it, because I need to make sure that I'm leading by example and I'm doing the right things.
I mean, it's interesting because did you have that switch that many father have? Many father don't have because they're shitty fathers. But like when you realize you're gonna become a father, like everything changed. At least for me, when I realized I was gonna become a father, there was a switch in my brain that my motivation changed, the way I look at the world changed, because now I was responsible for a person. And I always say that having kids is, at least to me, the meaning of life, at least biologically, right? Because we, if you just look at us as a species, we are meant to continue the species, and the only way to do it is to reproduce.
Right.
So that's the true meaning of our life, is to continue life. So did that change your perspective as, oh shit, I'm
for sure,
becoming a father?
Yeah, that made me feel like, okay, well, I'm, again, going back to like, now I need to make sure that, I think even before, I still knew what I wanted to do and I wanted to strive to be the best. But now, like I said, on the days where I think of the kids and I think, well, what would they think of me? Like, am I doing what I should be doing, or am I being lazy? Am I taking the easy way out? And it's like, no, I need to keep going, keep moving forward, I need to be the example, right? I need to make sure that they can look and see what I'm doing and go, well, I want to replicate that.
How old are they?
9 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah, still little, man.
Yeah. But so, for example, let's say when they grow up and they'll become teenagers or whatever, what if they say, hey, Tai, can I come and move in with you, or have an experience at least few months in Bali or whatever? Is that something you would like to have them closer?
Oh, for sure. I mean, even now, like when I'm around, I mean, Orly's still a little kid. I met him for the first time last April.
Oh.
You know, but Opie, who I've met multiple times, when we're with each other, it's crazy, because the more we're with each other, and she says, oh, I want to go to I'm like, all right, come with Queenie and I, we'll go get ice cream, you know, and like, I'll take Opie out. And like, I realize if her and I were always, we'd be best friends. We'd be inseparable. You know, how I am with Queenie, my dog, I'd be like that with Opie. I'd be like tucking her in. She'd be like, all right, enough hugs, I'm done. Like, leave me alone, you know, because I have a lot of love to give. So when we're
once
together,
again, father of the year, like the thing you said is like, you know, if I was every day with my son or daughter, you'll be like me and my dog. That's yeah. Maybe it's good that you don't see them every day. As any other questions from the CAC chair?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with this one.
And then we were gonna wrap it up. We have a thing that we do at the end.
Okay, so OxyContin, right? OxyContin, the drug.
OxyContin, yep.
OxyContin battle and heartbreak during rehab. How your meditation and journaling flip the script and inspire your books to help others.
So
That question is brought to you by ChatGPT.
Of course it is. You will be surprised how much this thing actually knows about you. Like, it's crazy.
that's wild, man. I can say the one thing. So when I was in the hospital bed, and I couldn't use my right arm, so I was just using my left arm to journal. But I was writing down little things because I read about this woman from Norway named Karina Hollicum, a base jumper who got in a crazy accident, almost died. Very similar. And I wrote to her to ask her advice, because there are not many people I know that have gone through.
Course.
What do you recommend? And she said, I still have her email back to me. It was so cool. Sent me a DVD of her movie, 20 Seconds of Joy. And I read what she said, and it was like, don't think about what you can't do. I'm like looking at posters of Corey Lopez surfing on my wall and like music festivals. She's like, focus on the little things you can do every day. So I started writing down like, okay, I clipped my nails today. I stood up. I peed for the first time. Like peeing for the first time, standing up as a guy after like 2 months where I had to pee in a jar. Like I was so pumped. So I started like just looking at the little things that I could do every day. And that's really what started my idea to write a book, is like, okay, cool. I'm finding progress in these little things. And like I'm finding joy in like, you know, standing up and licking a spoon after making brownie mix in a kitchen in rehab. Like weird stuff that I would find and take joy in that most people we take for granted, right? And yeah, the heartbreak and the opioid thing, the heartbreak I think everybody needs to go through in life at least once.
Oh yeah.
To just go through it. And I think the timing of it was good because it just gave me all this bullshit I had to handle and deal with at once, which, you know, again, like when you can handle that kind of pressure and figure out solutions to problems when you have that much going on, it makes the rest of life pretty easy.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot of lessons through that. But I think that was the combination, right? Not taking the pain meds anymore when I didn't need them, and also getting out of the heartbreak as a normal human being, more incentive to write a book because more lessons. I was like, all right, if I can help people with what I went through, if it can help them, that's again, it's a good way to kind of like wrap this up and try to make it something that's beneficial for just other people, not just myself.
Yeah. And as you said, it's interesting because what you went through is such a tiny number of people that went through what you went through. So even like for any kind of car accident or recovery from drugs or whatever, you have so much material and so much experience that you can rely on and you can see yourself in. But how many people survived jumping off a plane and the parachute didn't open properly and then can teach you or can help you out in the recovery of that? So few. So we as humans, we always look up to other people that done the same thing that we've done and that help us to get through it much faster, obviously.
Right.
So now I'm going to tell you one by one 3 words. And when I say the word, you just expand on it the way you want.
Okay.
Right? So the first word is pain.
Pain. There's the physical pain of just broken bones and things that you know might heal or that they will heal with time. And then there's the emotional pain where you just can't see any light at the end of the tunnel and you feel stuck. But at the same time, I think with enough of the right energy and a good mindset, you can get through both when it comes to just, I don't know, again, heartbreak or broken bones, right? That's the biggest emotional pain, or losing a loved one, which just happened to me 7 years ago. You can get through it, but the pain is just, it's temporary. Pain is temporary. It's going to go away as long as you do the right things and deal with it the proper way. You're going to get through it and get back to not being in pain.
And I think is a great teacher. Pain.
For sure. Oh yeah.
The interesting thing is, for example, they say that the biggest pain is giving birth, and it's so big of a pain, but then you kind of forget about it, and that's why women are like, oh, I want to do it again.
Yeah.
Which for men is wild to think about. Okay, it's like I kick you in the ball, and then you say, oh, let's do it again in a few years. Like
it's like getting tattooed, man. It hurts, it's painful, but then once it's done, I want to do it again. Just like childbirth, right?
Same.
Nothing at all.
Like it. Yeah. The second word is choice.
Choice. Yeah, we have the choice to do better. We all, that's what makes us all like on a level playing field when it comes to just the game of life, right? And it's funny, when you said choice, the first person I thought of was David Goggins. Like, he was such a mess, and he made a choice to go, well, actually, I'm going to clean up my mind and my body. And now he's like looked at as like the most inspirational, motivational character in this current time, right? So we all have the choice to do good things. We all have the choice to take responsibility, take ownerships for our own decisions. Like I always said, I made the wrong choices the day I got in my accident. That was nobody's fault but mine, because I didn't make the right choices. and I learned from it, and it became a big lesson, and thus there was growth, you know.
And the last one is death.
Death. We'll all be there at some point. We'll all be there at some point, and until death, I think it's fun to enjoy this ride. Whether one of the first things you said when I came in here was like simulation, and there's thoughts of what happens afterwards. But
did it change your perspective, like your accident? Did it change what you think about what the afterlife is going to be?
In some ways, yes, because of some of the things that had happened, and one of them's too long of a story to get into, but there were just a few things that happened where I felt like I had someone looking out for me, and to have that feeling of somebody looking out for me, and then losing my uncle 7 years ago, and some of the universal signals that I got over the time from when I had my accident up until now make me realize that it's going to be, I feel, pretty peaceful. But also, I've been saying it for years, this is a bonus life, like 17 years of when I just should not be here. So I don't think I can do any wrong. So why not try anything and everything I can, with limitations, of course.
Oh, so basically, being so close to death gave you like a sense of freedom, like, this is all extra time, so I can really do what I really want to.
Yeah, it's bonus. So why not? Like, I can do no wrong because I shouldn't be here. So just freaking have fun with it, man, and just live as hard and good as I can.
Yeah. That's it. No? Okay. One question.
Just the last one. You have a mantra, right? 2 lives, the second when you realize one.
Can you first repeat the mantra, because the Russian version of it is...
Well, I would say what I've been saying for years now is a good set of habits that I've been trying to practice every day is meditation, journaling, fitness, creation, learning, and gratitude. And that's kind of what what will balance me out if all of a sudden things aren't going well. Because when things are going good in life and everything's in a rhythm and smooth and you're just cruising, I don't necessarily feel like that's the set objectives I have to do for the day. But when things start getting tough or shitty, I'm like, okay, meditation, journaling, fitness, creation, learning, gratitude. If I can fit a little bit of that in every day, then I'm going to get back on path, right? Because it's not just doing good for your mental and your physical body, but you're doing good for others. And you're taking recognition of that by journaling and getting yourself back to like a set mindset where you can, figure out the path. So I'd say that's like the mantra right there. And I love that quote too. It's like, you don't necessarily know, you don't really begin your life until you almost lose it. And then you go, okay, now it's time to start living and start trying to kind of...
So if you didn't have a near-death experience, fuck you, you haven't lived yet. That's what you're saying. Like, one thing that I repeat myself often is, these too shall pass. Like, things are going great, they're not going to go great forever.
Right.
These two. Things are going horrible, these too shall pass.
Yep.
Like, it keeps me grounded, because when you're down, it's very difficult to find the positive.
Yep.
But life keeps on changing and throwing stuff at you, and you like, I can discover I have cancer tomorrow, for example. Like, and I'll just have to deal with it, you know. And when things are going great, you also have to keep yourself with the feet on the ground, knowing that they're not going to go great forever.
Oh, yeah.
These too shall pass. So, like, enjoy the things that you have. Try to be as good as possible, because bad moments will come, but bad moments are okay, just like the good moments. I've had, like everybody, great highs, great lows, and then you just try to navigate. And when things go bad, don't beat yourself too much. When things go great, don't think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Just keep going the course.
Oh, and one of my really good friends back in Florida, he's the CEO for Surfers for Autism. He says the same thing. I was with him during a pretty rough time for his life, but he'd say it out loud. He'd be like, "This too shall pass," and it's true, man. And life is just like a roller coaster with the highs and the lows. And the more you experience the lows, the more you realize how you can deal with them when it happens again. And
especially because you have the capacity and the ability to get out of it.
Yes, you've made it through before, so it's like, okay, I can do it again. And it might not suck as bad this time. Maybe it's going to be worse, but I'm going to get through it because it will pass.
Tyler, thank you.
Chris, thanks, man. It's been fun.